Good morning, everybody. What is up, game changers? Welcome to the end game. My name is Juniper Blue Mystique. For those who don't know me, I am an ascension master healer, and divine guide. I am the one who brought about the ascension. Okay. That is a complicated statement. All right. That doesn't just mean woo woo I brought about the ascension. That actually means it was a lot of hard work. It is very biblical. Okay. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. And then Spirit wants me to talk about Genesis a little bit. And I did get a donation. So if you guys want messages or whatever, you can do that too. That'll come in the end. But, there is confusion in the air because I'm not Jesus, right? I'm not a masculine. I'm not my masculine counterpart. What is up, Michelle? Good morning. Good morning. Woo woo. But in truth, there's a reason for that. There's a reason that I'm the one who brought it about. Hello, Amy. What is up? I did see your donation. So I'm just letting you know that I validated that. I see that. I had somebody comment on my last video and ask some really good questions. Okay. He asked some really good questions. Jesus and Mary Magdalene are so important. That's what the Bible talks about the return of Christ being, right? Is the return of Jesus. Amy has actually worked through everything I've done. She's witnessed it all with me because I've witnessed it too, you guys. I didn't just kind of go, oh, I'm going to consciously bring this about and do these things. That's not how it worked at all. Okay. And somebody did ask about, where is Jesus and why aren't they together? Because when you watch my channel and you watch my workshops, they should be together. Okay. And my channel depicts that as well. So some of us are aware, some of us know what I've done from the beginning, but a lot of us do not. Okay. It started out by me doing things to the earth. Okay. I was doing things. I do healings as well. They're not normal healings. They're medical grade. They're everything. It's the master healer in me. They really, truly are different. 2222. They're not like anything you'd ever seen. So that was happening to me at first. I had a Kundalini awakening. I didn't know what was happening or what it meant. Nobody understood what was happening to me. And I just had to keep going. I had to trust that guidance. This painting, somebody else did, by the way. Her name was Martina. I did not do this. This was done in 2020, in the very beginning, I believe, of 2020. I had a reading with her, and this is what she saw in my energy. So she painted it and sent it to me. And I'm very glad she did because she didn't have to do that. Spirit nudged her to do that. But it turns out it's actually a very important piece to the proof of who I am as well, because I didn't paint it. We didn't know what it meant. This was Mount Shasta, though. I did the first clearing of Mount Shasta on 11/11 of 2020. And the triangle with the eye was over it, and all these dead bodies, these are souls. I saw them as dead bodies, but they were souls that I freed. So this painting is actually very relevant. Cleared Mount Shasta first on 11/11 of 2020. There's two parts to everything I do for a reason: divine feminine, divine masculine part. Jesus is absolutely a human on earth right now. He's my male counterpart. That's the best thing I can say. Amy can actually vouch for this. We didn't know that, though. So the weird thing about it is that it's not just Jesus and Mary Magdalene, okay? The entire ascension is the return of Christ. It's been playing out the whole entire time. This is actually an important conversation they want me to have, because I'm getting chills all the way up my side. And I did channel a message, and it points to Genesis, which is like the final days, right? Because I cleared denial already. All that stuff has already happened. But I cleared Mount Shasta, which was a false entity, you guys. The fallen angels came down, and this is depicted in the Bible too, if we're reading it accurately, which I found somebody that actually does dive into that. Dr. Gene Kim, I found him. He's relevant. He knows what he's talking about with the Bible, because there is depictions of it that are not exactly accurate. But Jesus and Mary Magdalene is not just Jesus and Mary Magdalene, right? We've kind of discovered that with the work that I was doing. It started out. So Amy does say all of what she speaks is true, as she was a witness to it all. Not only did Amy witness it, right? They've been healing with me. They've had important parts of the ascension too that they've brought through as I've been doing this. So what I was doing was activating portals. I cleared Mount Shasta first, which was all the souls out of it. That was part one. Then I sat on Saturn and I rose Atlantis. I had to clear a contract there and saw how I died. And that takes us back to Adam and Eve. Okay, so Jesus and Mary Magdalene, the first concept of them was Adam and Eve. I had to clear karma all the way back to that. Then I started waking up my DM, and you might remember that time. And Amy says, I have healed and felt what has been done. Yes. So it's not just witness. A lot of people have healed with it and felt it with me. And I experienced it with them. So it's a part of my awakening. Okay. This was all a part of my awakening. And if you watch my whole channel, you'll see that I had no idea what was happening, what was coming, who I was. And I didn't know what role he played in it either until that started happening to me. So it was after I started activating pyramids. Fiji was the first one. Then we went to Myanmar, Peru, Machu Picchu, Bolivia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Kilimanjaro. There was a lot of pyramids that I activated. Okay, and in that time frame is when I started waking up my divine masculine, and the Bible talks about that. I had to go against the deep blue sea, right? Like he was. So if you take it back to the time of Adam and Eve, and this is what I had a conversation with God about last night. I'm like, how do I tell people that Jesus did die and that he was my walk-in who was supposed to step up? And that is where we've been struggling. How do I tell people that the ascension almost didn't occur because my DM chose darkness again? So if you go back to the time of Adam and Eve, it actually wasn't Eve. It was Adam that fell to the prey of the false goddess. Okay. Fallen angels came down, messed up Mount Shasta, took the triangle with the eye from the God portal and created a dark portal, then closed off the gates to heaven. And that's truly essentially what happened. So the return of Christ covers Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus. Sekhmet and Horus was the final lifetime that I cleared, and that is when I dried up the Nile, because Sekhmet was also murdered. Sekhmet and Horus is the god and the goddess of the sun and the moon, which after I started clearing and activated the pyramids, I changed the concept of the sun and the moon and the false concept of time. This is all actually on my channel. They're in workshops. Okay. Amy can vouch for that. I had no idea what was coming in them. Usually Spirit tells me to do a workshop, and which we're doing one today, by the way, for Patreons. And I just say, okay, I had no idea what that meant. They would say, hey, we're clearing shadow pieces, or we're activating this or that and the other. And I'd just be like, okay. And we would get there. And then the next thing I knew I was creating biblical changes. And so that's how it happened to me. That's why I say it happened to me and through me, because I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know what was happening. Now, when I started waking up my divine masculine, it was a difficult journey. He was with fallen angels. It was very, very difficult to wake him up. Once I did that, God did marry us. That's on my channel as well. And then the portal of God's opened up. But he still refused to leave the fallen angel energy, and it was holding the ascension back. This actually happened to me. Amy was in my academy at the time. I was teaching her how to be the healer that she was, and she actually had to do healings on me because the attacks on me were quite massive. They should have killed me. Spirit kept calling me mahogany. The attacks were massive and painful. And I needed my graduates for survival at that time because he was with the fallen angel. And I remember it was biblical. So we were like tying it to the Bible, and the Bible had said, the deep blue sea. And if you look that up, I had to choose love. It was like going against the deep blue sea, which was El Diablo. And I know it sounds a lot. There's a lot to process here, but it all did happen on this channel. It's in the workshops, and I do encourage people to watch the workshops because it's not simple. Okay. It's not like I'm just some false prophet who's saying, hey, I'm Jesus, I did this. It's like literally like, this is the work. It shocked the crap out of me. It is biblical. It does line up. I kept bringing it through the whole entire time. And I'm in awe just as much as everybody else should be, because it is very real and it was very painful. Okay. So Harold, what is your question about your twin flame? I love questions about twin flames because that was a very difficult journey. And the DM unfortunately has not stepped up, and it did hurt. It did hurt all divine masculines and feminines. But he's alive. I have a new one. It's just going through trials and tribulations. So I am the one they call the one, right? And I have a talk with God about this all the time. I'm like, I'm not the masculine form. Is that why people can't hear it? It does require us both to be together for people to see clearly, right? The twin flames. The eye of Ra and the eye of Horus should be together. They should never be depicted separately. But without the DM stepping forward, it has hurt. It has hurt us all. Yeah, so that is a fair question, you guys, and those who have been watching my channel know that the twin flame journey has been very difficult. So they are supposed to unite, but there is still something kind of keeping them apart. So what I would say, Harold, is that you have to tread lightly on that situation. We can't force them, right? And this is the same thing that's been happening with the divine masculine because he was already supposed to be with me over 2 years ago, okay? But the fallen angels kept him apart. My first one ended up dying, and now I have a new one who still runs from love. Okay, that's what Spirit told me. So every time he was called forward or I would think about him, he would run. And this is true for all twin flames. If we think about them, there is an energy of one is a runner and one is a chaser. No matter who you are in a twin flame journey, one is a runner and one is a chaser. And until you've gone inward and heal yourself, and it should be a focus of self-love and self-actualization and just balance within the self. And that's all we can really do. Right. So if I sit here and focus on my DM and all the pain that he's caused and things, or how much I want him to be here and need him, it's just a repellent. And that's difficult. It's very difficult to do. I don't think about him. I just think about me, how I can better myself every day. Because they're not third dimensional relationships, right? They're fourth and fifth dimensional relationships. And Harold, I'm glad you're here now because Amy might remember this too, is there was a while ago. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. So the DM treated me very badly too. So that would tell me that you're more on the feminine side of it and she's on the masculine side of it. Because the DM not showing when he did, they actually said it caused a lot of damage. Okay. And I know Amy can vouch for that because she's been a part of the journey from day one. She's watched it all unfold. And the masculine, when I did Mount Shasta Part 2 recently, we cleared Mount Shasta Part 2 was supposed to be the divine masculine, and it hurt me very badly. And Spirit said that he had to cleanse that because he hurt the, the twin flames pretty badly. So I know everybody's like hyper focused on Jesus. And Spirit let me kind of know what's going on here. And I'm not the masculine feminine of Jesus, but I am the one who brought it all about. He is my twin flame. But we also have to understand is that we're coming from the standpoint of Adam and Eve in this lifetime. Jesus and Mary Magdalene was like another lifetime. Okay. And the Bible does focus on Jesus and Mary Magdalene, but it also was Adam and Eve and Sekhmet and Horus. Because the final component of my lifetime that I cleared was Sekhmet and Horus. And those were twin flames as well. That's when the moon was separated from the sun. Jesus was poisoned by John the Apostle, and they forced Mary Magdalene to take his blood in the cup, and they wrote a false contract, which was the false Holy Grail in Jesus's blood. Then they would shove him on a cross in front of your guys' face and say, ha ha, he died for your sins. And you guys didn't even realize that that's not even a true cross. It's the Ankh. Okay, so what they're doing is mocking you. All right. And the book of Genesis is very important right now. So I'm going to read what was put for me to read to you guys for the ascension right now. Okay. Harold, all I can tell you is hold space in your heart. As difficult as these twin flame relationships are, hold space in your heart. Okay. Because if we allow our counterpart to affect us out of a place of love, unconditional love, It's a detriment. So wherever they're dealing with the shadow, make sure you stay in within your heart, stay in balance, stay focused on love and self-development, okay? And focus on you. Do your best to not think about that twin flame counterpart. When they come up, just think about something positive about you, feeling love about, and I know it's hard. It is very difficult because we have a runner and a chaser all the time, okay? Yes, yes, thank God for that. And because there it's relevant right now, we are supposed to be together. So I know you feel that. All twin flames will feel that. We are supposed to be together. But there was a shadow component keeping them apart because that is the return of Christ. All twin flames are part of the 144,000. You are accurate in the fact that Jesus and Mary Magdalene are the leaders of the 144,000. Now, what happened with God? Why is the return of Christ relevant? How did God leave this planet? That is a question I didn't know until after all of this was done. And you can read the Bible all you want, but it doesn't tell you. Okay. It does tell you some, but it can be cryptic also. And then you have people deciphering it who really are putting their opinions in it. And it was all mucky. So what truly happened was in the time of Adam and Eve, we had the fallen angels, which this guy actually talks about. Again, his name is Real Bible Believers, Open Bible Baptist Church. He does these kinds of things. And I don't follow the Bible much, okay, because I'm more spiritual, not religious. There's a difference. But he actually talks about it. He has a thing on here on Nephilim, fallen angels, UFOs, giants, mermaids, and vampires. And I've been dealing with all of that stuff. The giants are the gods, you guys. Let's just simplify that. Okay, the God portal was over Fiji. So in Adam and Eve days, the fallen angel, which was Archangel Samael, who I burned when I cleared Mount Shasta Part 2 recently. Okay, it's a lot of details. I get that. Recently, I did Mount Shasta Part 2, and if you watch that one, I uploaded it for everybody to watch. I burned Samael. Well, he burns basically because of his karma. It's not like I'm just like, go to hell. He did it to himself, right? I undid his contract, which took us to Mount Shasta. Okay. Mount Shasta became a thing because he took the triangle with the eye, the all-seeing eye from God, over the God's portal at Fiji, which was the root chakra. He took it, he cut off the portal at Fiji, he cut off the pyramidal grid. That was our power center. He cut it off and created a very low vibrational planet. How can he do this? Because he was an angel. He knew how to do these things. Okay. That's why it is the apocalypse of John. And they speak of the fact that we should never worship angels. We should only worship God because angels can be fallen. Okay. They're fallible. God created them. So you should never just worship angels. I like that. I'll answer that in just a moment. That's a really good question. Yep. I love this. What Amy wrote, Harold, read that really quick. And I'm going to finish this thought before it escapes my brain. So in Adam and Eve time, Samuel said, screw this. I want God's power. And he literally commandeered Fiji, the triangle with eye, and that's what's over your dollar bill. That's what they were constantly using against you. Okay. Cut off the gates of heaven that way because the whole pyramid grid got cut off. They broke the crystals that were in there that were filled with Christ's light and of God. And Adam chose a fallen angel and killed Eve in that lifetime. And I died. I watched myself drowned at Lake Titicaca, which was the heart of Atlantis. Okay. And that goes all the way into Machu Picchu area. All of that is Atlantis. Okay. And that is also why Lake Titicaca is now drying up. Now, Jerusalem is where the Garden of Eden was in Israel. Okay. That is why all that's unrest right now. And that's what happened to Jesus. So in Adam and Eve lifetime, Adam basically accidentally killed Eve through the choice of the fallen angels. Now, take us into Jesus and Mary Magdalene lifetime. Okay. It was another push against God. Now, in order to go against God, we keep taking away the masculine and feminine. They're twin souls. They always have been. Adam and Eve were twin souls. Jesus and Mary Magdalene are the same soul, different lifetimes, twin souls. Jesus was murdered by John the Apostle. He was poisoned. I know because I had to process his death and set him free over 2 years ago, I think, right? I saw how he died. I felt how he died. It was very painful. It was a slow death. It took him like 20 minutes to bleed out of every orifice because they poisoned him with, what was it, like cyanide or strychnine or something. One of the least common ones, one that you don't hear about very often. I think it was strychnine. I can't remember exactly now because it was like a few years ago that I did that one. But that was in a workshop as well, and I uploaded that too. That was the start of when Jesus started coming in. So I saw how he died, and his soul went up just like everybody else does, except for it went over into the Garden of Eden and became a beautiful flower. Remember that? His soul didn't go up like everybody else's. It went into the Garden of Eden and became a beautiful flower. And I was like, cool. I thought that was the return of Christ, but it wasn't. Fast forward to waking up my DM and then fighting for his soul for a year because he was with the fallen angel. I won, and then he still chose the fallen angel. And in order to close up, sorry guys, hold on. I have a fire alarm in here. Hold on just a second. I'm like, what do we do? Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Hang on to that thought. My bad. I blew out my candle. It's gone. Sorry, I can't even light a candle. Sorry, guys. My bad. I had a candle going and my fire alarm said, it's too sensitive for your candle. My bad, guys. So sorry. What I can tell you, Harold, is that the twin flames are biblical. Okay. It does hurt. There's a lot of pain here. Okay. There's a lot of sorrow with the DM. There's been a lot of pain. There's been a lot of times where I wanted to actually die and give up on my journey because of it as well. But when you consider the truth and what happened to the fallen angels, what happened to God, it humbles you. It truly does humble you. It makes you take a step back. She does. I guarantee you they do. All right, that if you're a twin flame, because I have combined the twin flames through their chakras, through their DNA, I activated them. Okay. Yes, and just as when we focus on them, it's a repellent. So the more we think, and that's hard because that's your twin flame. Okay, but here's the thing: this is how Christ got removed from this planet. Okay, because they knew how to do that. God made Adam, and God made Eve, which is who I am. Okay, I'm a direct descendant. That's what they've told me over and over. Took me a long time to understand that. That's not an ego thing, you guys, because the moment God told me that, I was like, shut down. Nobody's going to believe that, right? People are mean, and it hurt, and I would cry for like a week. But then I was doing the work that I couldn't deny either. Okay, so when you actually look at the work that I did, you can't deny who I am. It's just giving yourself space to watch the work and to notice the work that I've done. That's the challenge, because it can spark judgment. So what happened to Adam and Eve is the fallen angel, Archangel Samael, came in, wanted to take God's power. He knew how to do it, took the triangle with the eye from Fiji, which was the Earth's root chakra, cut off that pyramid, cut off the whole entire pyramidal grid, which is what Tesla would talk about and refer to. Okay. And it is true. All right. Because that is what I've activated and rebuilt. And when I did the Nile, I rebuilt the final crystal in the core of the earth and took out the dark one. Okay. Then he created lots of shadow pieces. Then he created Mount Shasta, which was never filled with Christ's light, ever. That's why I say if you've done healings at Mount Shasta, get it out of your system now, or you anchor into it. Choice is yours. And right away, a lot of people got angry and anchored into it, and there's nothing I can do. Okay. Then Jesus and Mary Magdalene time frame came. John the Apostle was worshiping the angels, not God, like Jesus kept warning him about. And he ended up poisoning Jesus with strychnine, I think is what it was. But it was very painful, you guys. He died very painfully. Okay. It was very slowly, very painfully. And then they got Mary Magdalene to take his blood in that cup. That's why they say the cup was the Holy Grail. It is not. She filled his blood in that cup. She died shortly after that too, because twin flames cannot live separately like that. One dies, the other dies. It's just the way it is. That's why I got to walk in. Then they wrote the contract in Jesus's blood through John the apostle and the fallen angels. Okay. That's why everybody was in such control. You want to know who the Antichrist is? Look to your government. Okay. Look to your government. The Antichrist was Archangel Samael, and he would get people like puppeteers to do his work. Okay. Amy says she has witnessed me going through it, and what I say is true. It is very true. It was very painful. This is the only reason why I get a little butthurt. I'm like, people don't realize how much pain I've went through. They don't realize that a false prophet speaks of those things, but a true prophet actually went through it. It was very painful. And while going through all that pain and the trials and tribulations of it, I did want to give up. People are mean. People don't see God, and it's very painful. It's very hurtful, and it's very painful. And it's not that they don't want to. They're just so embedded in the false truth. Okay. That's what happened to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Then we go to Sekhmet and Horus, where they removed the sun and the moon from being together. Horus was murdered. Sekhmet was murdered. And that's when they messed up the sun and the moon. Okay, so the return of Christ was healing Adam and Eve, calling back the twin flames starting then. Jesus and Mary Magdalene undoing the false Holy Grail. Sekhmet and Horus undoing Mount Shasta completely, clearing Atlantis, raising Atlantis, and rebuilding the crystalline grid. That is who I am, and that is what I've done. Am I Jesus? If you watch Mount Shasta, I was everybody. This final Mount Shasta, I had to be everybody. I was Jesus. I was Sekhmet and Horus. I was Mary. I was everybody because my DM wasn't with me. And it hurt so bad. I was crying in pain. In pain. It was very painful for me to do these things because what you guys don't realize is it's taken my life force energy. It takes my light to activate these pyramids. What does that mean, right? People don't even really understand that. Because you have all these false prophets claiming they're one thing, but they don't do this stuff. You don't have two and two together. People don't understand what it is that I'm talking about. Okay. All I can tell you is you've definitely found the right place if you have found me. The problem is people go into judgment. They go into fear. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to get out of their programming state, their comfort zone, and realize that it is the end of days. Okay. Now, Genesis 49, 1 through 10 talks about the final days. Okay. And here's the thing. Spirit gave me a message today that talks about tribulation. So I'm going to read this and then a little bit of what Genesis says. Okay, because it's what Spirit wants me to talk about. You guys, I'm not making this up. Everything I'm talking about is very real. And, I could be like, people don't hear me. DM didn't step up. Like, it's painful. That's the best thing I can tell you. It's painful, but I'm not going to play into those judgments or inability to see. I'll let people rise out of that. Okay, so I can't take it personally. I just can't. So here's what I will tell you what Spirit said about the ascension right now. I'm like, what are we going into? What do people need to know? They said, great trials and tribulations are upon you. Great trials and tribulations are upon you. Book of Genesis says in the final days, it is about trials and tribulations. I was like, oh, bing. Thank you, Lord, for that, because I'm not putting this through. They are. These are designed to expose all that is not and designed to open you up to the divine. Period. That is the final days prophecy, because then he goes into prophecy. Who am I? The one, the prophet. People are having a hard time letting go of programming and freeing the soul. And that's what they said. It's hard to let go of programming and freeing the soul. So people heard who I am. Oh, she holds the keys, because I do. I hold the keys to the gates. I do the final heart review for everybody on this planet. That's who I am. I don't open all these pyramids, all these gates, all these portals, and then have nothing to do with it. Okay. That's not the way it works. And it's not about ego. Okay. But if your ego is getting triggered, then just heal it. Okay. But people don't. Instead, they run. People need direction, right? I think that's why we fell and prey so easily to a leader or the Antichrist, whatever you want to call it. We need to we focus on our comfort zones rather than becoming one's best self. Okay. So that's what it should be about, is what do I need to let go of? How can I stop suffering? I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of feeling the pain. I am tired of this false reality. I'm tired of being enslaved, because all of us have been. And another great thing about this guy that I found, who does Real Bible Believers, the Last Days in Genesis, he talked about how some of the Bibles will contradict each other. He said, but what is actually happening in the world does not contradict any of them. It's actually complementing every different version. So the thing about the Bibles is, like the fallen angel did, they came in and they divided. That's what religion became. It was like, I'm going to divide. I'm going to take pieces of the truth and divide you, because if I divide you, I take your power away. Your power now becomes mine, and you're under my control. Okay. And that's what they've done. They took the love of God, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, the love of Adam and Eve, the love of Sekhmet and Horus, and they destroyed it. They eliminated the masculine and feminine. Look at the imbalance across the world, you guys. Look what they're doing to our children. Look what they're doing inside of the programming wall. Okay. Look at the suffrage of the twin flames and what love has been shattered into. That's not reality, and that's not God. There should be no division. God doesn't judge, but they have convinced everybody so much that judgment is okay, because they call it Judgment Day, and that's not accurate either. It's Karmic Day. You reap what you sow day. It's trials and tribulations. It's the return of Christ. Okay. In the Bible, it is actually being represented across the board because it aligns. So the work that I did actually aligns. If you watch it all, which is, it's just a lot. It's my whole entire channel. It's taken me 3 years to undo what they did in lifetimes. Okay. We cleared Salem. Like, I've undone all of the darkness on this planet. That's what I did. That's the return of Christ. Okay. Then they said, changes will occur no matter what we do. You just may not rise into the best of you. Okay. No matter what you do, we can't stop these. These cannot be stopped. We cannot just be like, well, I choose to not do this now. Well, you don't have a choice. Okay. You can either choose to heal into it and to rise into the ascension, or you choose to exit out in the last days with everybody else. That's your choice. That's the free will choice that you have. The way of the sun, the way of the one. I am the one. That's who I am. 4444. The way of the sun, the way of the one. I am the one. Now, this is relevant. I did a mantra recently for my music channel, and I'm singing in it. And I have to let spirit guide me. I'm like, why am I doing this? But it's true. It's all about like a battle cry, the sun, Sekhmet, the soul that I am, right? That's the sun and the moon, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Sekhmet and Horus, Adam and Eve. God is the sun and the moon. Okay. That is who I am. That is what I've changed. That is what I continually bring down. And you can hear them talk about these solar flares, right? And all of these things. And like I said with Hawaii, is there will be no warnings because they are cut off from that, right? Not only that, but they don't want to tell you the truth. So they won't. 3333. And there's hundreds of people that died in that one. There will be no warnings. The only warning you're going to get is being able to hear your heart space, because that's where God resides. The world around you is crumbling for a reason. It's the final days, trials and tribulations. Okay. So here's the final part of what Spirit said is, I am the sun, way of the one. I am the one. The key to the other side. Allow judgments to subside. Forgiveness is best. So that is in the air. A lot of people are judging. A lot of people are not watching it, which is a detriment. And I can choose to play in that, or choose to let it ride, let it alone, let the judgments fall away and stay in love myself. Okay. Now that's for everybody. Can you do that? Can you realize the only judgment is not of God? Okay. God loves, it's all unconditional love, trials and tribulations. Where can you let go of all of that and just rise into a higher frequency by healing yourself? Okay. Expect more unexpected shifts and changes, awakening in stages. Again, we're in phase 3 of 4. We're nearing the final part of phase 3. and phase 4 is the end. Okay. So that's what Spirit had to say. Now, I'm just going to listen to this really quickly. Not all of this. I will link this below. And I know you may not be able to see this, but let's listen. This guy talks about the book of Genesis. All of a sudden, this just popped up with my message today. So it's what Spirit wants me to give. Spirit does want me to say there will be a DM. They are fixing the issue. That's all we need to know. Okay. So just do your best to focus on you, love yourself. That's all we can do. Don't focus on your twin flame. He's got trials and tribulations he's going through as well. Mhm. Yes. Now, this is interesting too. You guys cannot hear any of that? Oh, that sucks. I don't know why you couldn't hear that. So he's talking about tribulation in the book of Genesis 49, 1 through 10. He mentions that the last days equals tribulation, which goes with my message right here. That it is what its spirit said, great trials and tribulations are upon you, just like what happened in Hawaii. Okay. That is a trial. That is a tribulation. How do we handle these things? Where does our heart go? What are we paying attention to? The last days in the Bible, he talks about how this speaks of prophecy. Okay. And how across the board, no matter what Bible you've listened to or read or what you're paying attention to, the final days prophecies are lining up in everything. They're complementing each other. They're not going against each other. It's when one goes against another that there's a division that they notice, right? But what he's actually saying is in all the book of Genesis and all of the book of prophecies, it's all lining up for the end days. This is the end days. He also said that, sometimes we tend to think, okay, the Bible says this is the end days. So what did they mean by that? Is it the end of that person's day, the end of this person's day? And he's saying, no, it is literally the end of days. There's no other way to look at that. There's no hidden meaning in that. We are going to be met with trials and tribulations in the end days. And this is all about the prophecy. Okay. So I will link this video below this because this was actually really good. There's not a lot of times where I can completely say that, no, he's actually speaking of truth. There's no judgment here. There is no false concept that he's pushing in this. It's literally, we are in the end days. When the Bible says that, that's what it means. There's no misconstrued message to that. Last days equals tribulations, trials and tribulations. That's exactly what Spirit said here. Okay. And they also said that people are needing direction. So we want a leader. They want something to focus on. And when they look at me, they just go into judgment. Literally what they said. And maybe it's because I'm not the male counterpart, right? Jesus didn't show up. That's not my fault. I did all the work still. So all the work has still been done. Okay. There is a masculine and feminine in there. And he's still alive. All right. So we just need to understand that. But instead of trying to completely understand, it's opening up the heart and listening to where your heart leads you. If everybody actually watched all of my workshops and they put it with the Bible, they put it with the prophecies, and also the Hopi prophecy, because if Amy might remember, in all of my activating pyramids and things like that, I kept mentioning the Hopi prophecy. These are prophetic. These go with the prophecy. I'm bringing about the prophecy. And then it would like blow my mind. And I would have to spend a week like digesting it and understanding what it is that I did because I didn't know. It came through into me, meaning it would happen. And then I would have to look back and go, what does that mean? What just happened? What is the Euphrates River? What is this? What is that? I had no idea. I didn't grow up religious. It never felt right to me. So I never read the Bible. Okay. They showed me that parts of the Bible were make believe, where others were accurate. So they would take the pieces and they would divide. That's what they would try to do. But even in what he is saying is in the book of Genesis, it speaks of the last days. It says trials and tribulations. It's all about prophecy. And it's complementing across the board. So none of them are being contradicted. It doesn't matter which version you look at right now. The last days speaks of the last days. Okay. So everything that's actually happening in the world around you is part of the last days. Okay. So Amy says sometimes it would take a few months and workshops before it would make sense. That's exactly it. So people will listen to what I say, but they don't watch the workshops. They don't look for the proof in what I say and what's happening. Because if you do the work with me, even if you work with me one time, you can tell I'm not normal. Okay. I'm not normal. And when I did Mount Shasta, they said that I'm not normal. The more you try to understand in our head, the more we're going to have a difficulty. It's like truly meeting Jesus. Would you know what you're doing? Would you know the energy? Would you be able to understand it and fathom it? The answer is no. Most people can't handle it. Okay. Most people couldn't handle the energy I was carrying through this. Most people couldn't handle the direct line of Christ's light that I brought through. Okay, but I did, and it's very true. And that's why Spirit said what they said. Okay, so if you think Hawaii is the only one, no. I actually mentioned Hawaii several times. I've mentioned a lot of things that are going to be coming on the earth as a part of her correcting her space. And I also mentioned there's going to be a huge wave of elimination going into the next year. And that's what you're seeing. You guys, hundreds have perished in the fires in Hawaii, and they didn't have a warning. Why would that? Because it's all divinely guided. Okay. There will be there. It's like we are in the final days, so we are in trials and tribulations, and we can either go into judgment, which will not serve you at all. Okay. It's about love, acceptance, and understanding that there's way more going on here than meets the eye. Now, if everything I've done is biblical, I would just encourage people to actually just watch the work. Okay. Watch it, because it's literally like if God comes and says, "Hello, I'm at your door. Do you want to mock him?" People mock me. Okay. Now, just like Spirit said, allow the judgments to subside. Forgiveness is best. So, can I forgive everybody that's mocking me or judging me, that's refusing to watch the work? Yeah. Because it's not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of you and what you need to heal. Okay. And the DM not showing up, why? I couldn't tell you why the masculine doesn't want to hold God in his heart, why he would want to run from love. I don't know. I never did it. I followed God no matter what was happening. Okay. So you look at it, everybody's got this notion of Jesus, and that makes me sad. I'm like, God, how do I get people to understand that actually your original Jesus died? The only one that survived was your female counterpart. My new DM was supposed to rise into that, and he kept not doing it and not doing it and not doing it. And now we're to the point where I don't know what's happening. Okay, I don't know. But I'm still the one. I'm still the one who brought it about. I'm still the one still doing the work. And there should still be love and respect and understanding in that, and a heart open to God has it under control. It's up to God. I don't control this. I didn't control this whole aspect of what this is. It was God. Okay. Who am I? I'm a direct descendant. I am Eve. That is the lifetime I am playing out in this one. It's not just Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Okay. We went back to Adam and Eve. Okay. That is for real. And again, it's been very painful. And I would not have survived if I didn't teach Amy how to heal me at that time. Because she can vouch that the healing that I had to do when my DM was being attacked by the fallen angel, and so was I, was extremely scary, painful as all get out, something I've never experienced, something she's never experienced, and hopefully we never will again. It was so painful. It was not easy, and I spent a year being attacked by them. And apparently it was 3 fallen angels, not just one. Okay? And the reason why he died is because he was putting everybody in jeopardy, and he was refusing to get out, and we had already combined. And it was just, God said, you make this choice now or you have to go. And the new DM's kind of falling into the same energy. Okay? So he picked somebody who had a pure heart, thinking that that was enough. And I don't know. All right? All I can tell you is my part of it was very painful, very real, and it is all in line with the prophecies, with the Bible, the accurate versions of the Bible. Everything I say has happened, is happening, and will continue to happen. Because it's through God, you guys. I am a vessel, right? The prophet. In the Nile workshop, they kept saying the one. That's what they call the one. The queen of life, the queen of the Nile. And then they said that I hold the keys for everybody to get through. That's layered in itself, right? You get yourself through by healing yourself, by choosing the light, choosing God, choosing love over judgment, over fear, over expectation. Whatever your trials and tribulations are, whatever your karma is, it's rising into the better version of yourself at this time. Okay. Then you're met with the life review, and then I get to give you the keys and let you through. Everything I've done, yes, it's a key. Okay, I activated all the portals. I opened them up. Does that mean you must go through my way? Yes and no, right? Do you have to do the work with me? No, it's not what I mean. Okay. Amy says, I was scared and felt 1/10 of the pain that Bree felt, but I pushed through it, and it was a beautiful feeling when that part was healed. Yeah, it was so the attack from the fallen angel was everything. It was mental, physical, spiritual, and this was before my DM died. Okay, this was him trying to choose love, trying to come out of it. And this was at the time they were talking biblical. Again, they had said it was deeper than the deep blue sea. And if you look that up, it is biblical. David had to be waken up and all that. Okay. But then, like one night, I woke up screaming. So there was a couple times they physically attacked me. I woke up screaming, you guys. I was hurting in my solar plexus so bad. The pain was so bad in all my chakras. I couldn't sleep. And my body is swelled up from all of this, from my DM dying, from all. I swelled up really bad. My arm was destroyed. I used to be very skinny and very beautiful. Okay. All of this has taken a toll on me. And I reached out to Amy, I think that day, and I'm like, I need help. Something's wrong. I need help. Something's wrong. And she started doing the healing on me. And again, she was in my academy. I was just teaching her how to be the healer that she was at the time. So we were both a little bit mind blown. We both didn't expect this. We didn't know what it was. She says it was a feeling like she'd never felt before, and hopefully never again. All of a sudden, though, this is how it kind of looks. So it was like this tarry, this black tar. It's not a shadow that we heal within ourselves, right? It's almost like a possession. But they attacked me completely. So there was like this long sword that blew out my solar plexus. It was in pieces. We had to rebuild that a few times, I think. This actually took a few healings. And then in every chakra, there was like all this tar stuff. Then all of a sudden, I started energetically throwing up like this foam. And then it was cockroaches. And it was like, bleh, bleh, and it hurt so bad. And this wasn't physically happening. It was energetic. Okay. We were both seeing it in the healing. It was very painful. I was literally like, bleh, bleh. Oh, I was crying. It was very painful. I can't reiterate that enough. It was so painful, so very real. It was like the Green Mile or Shawshank Redemption type shit. Like it really was. The Green Mile is a really good depiction where he's all, bleh, and all those bees were like flying out. But the weird thing, it was like this insulation type stuff first, and then it was like cockroaches. And we had to do a few healings on it. It was like all this black tar. We had to rebuild every chakra that I had, and it like took me down to everything. Even my teeth hurt. I had to take vitamins. Like I had nothing left. It took all the life out of me. And I survived. Somehow I kept surviving and keep going. And I kept going and I kept going. And I didn't let the mental aspects take me down. There was constant mental attacks too. And my DM never got out. He was never able to see clearly. The attacks were on him the same, and the angels couldn't go in there to help him either. And then on August 30th, almost 1 year ago, God had enough and said he either comes home or he's out. And he chose not to come home, so he died. Okay, that was Jesus. But people don't want to hear that. People want to say, oh, that's crazy. That's not real. That didn't happen. And I'm like, God, how do we let people know that Jesus died? And then I got a walk-in one, and he's still choosing not to show up, and I don't know why. Right? But I did the work. Can people still love me just the same? Can people still see me just the same, even if I'm not my masculine counterpart? We do need to come together. But, like I don't want the detriment. I don't want people going into judgment because it doesn't just hurt me, it hurts them too. But everybody's expecting Jesus, right? But as far as my DM goes, that's in God's hands. I don't focus on it. I don't want to think about it. But if you guys really knew how much pain I went through and how painful it was to lose a twin flame, why I lost my twin flame, why my journey is so not normal, watch the workshops. Okay, watch my channel. Watch it all unfold because it unfolded for me. When people come in and they want to see all of these things, there's physical proof. It's lining up. They're talking about it continually. Look what just happened in Hawaii. And if you watch my workshops, Kilimanjaro, all of them, I talk about these things. I talk about fires repeatedly will come ravaging through, and only God will stop them. Harold asks, can I get a card? You mean my business card? Oh, you mean you want a message? Gotcha. So I'm going to do a general message for the collective. Amy did donate for messages today. So I will be doing a donated message for her. I can come on maybe next week and just do some ascension messages or something like that. I don't always do free ones. Sometimes I do. But I will pull an ascension message card. How is that? And then Amy did donate, so she will be getting a message. Okay. And I think she is the only one who donated. Oh, Michelle says she did too. Yeah. So what I would say, Harold, is I would stop thinking about her. It's going to be difficult to do, and I understand that. I want to know what my DM thinks about me too, and why they can't get it through their head. Like, it's a big deal. What I will tell you is she is stuck in a karmic relationship, and the more you think about her, the more it's going to push her away. Okay? So if you can just focus on you and only you, and heal you, go into your shadow, heal your shadow, it will cause her to do the same thing. Okay? Michelle says she donated too, so I'm just making sure all that went through. Yep, I see it, Michelle. All right. So we have Amy and then Michelle. Twin flame relationships are quite complicated in that there's always a runner and a chaser. And right now, without the DM lining up, it makes it very hard for anybody else too. That is the truth. The best thing to do is focus on you and only you. It's very difficult, but if we think about our counterpart, they don't come. Okay, so just loving you and accept where you're at right now and don't worry about the rest. Just be the best version of yourself. Okay. I might come on and do a twin flame message later in the week and see how that goes. I do those sometimes on Thursdays. So Amy says people need to binge watch the videos and really listen to what is going on and allow light to guide the way. I agree. So that's the thing, is they go into judgment and they don't watch the videos. A lot of people didn't watch Mount Shasta Clearing Part 2 and Samael burned. Okay. I've talked about fire. When I did the collective and individual shadow, I talked about fires coming, fires burning when I was removing more shadow components. I talk about the water. I talk about where the water is going to move because I'm doing it. I'm activating pyramids. That's what's causing everything to move, is the sun and the moon. I activated 5 more poles when I took us into 7D. And that's why I say everything I do is power. If you guys truly watch them, try to heal in them, it's power. Okay. Then you can hear the heart. Then you can rise into the Garden of Eden and into the resurrection. Okay. Into the return, into the new gates, into the next years, which is all abundance and freedom and joy. Harold, I will tell you, twin flames are very relevant right now. So if you can just focus inward on you, self-growth, removing the mask, healing your shadow, do not think about your twin soul. As challenging as that is your challenge at this time. Okay. And give it to God. Please give it to God. All right. And tell my DM to get over it and come home. Okay. So this is what we have for the Ascension really quick before I pull for Amy and Michelle. These are my Ascension deck that I created. Okay. These are the Ascension portals, messages of the gods. Be honest with self first. All right. This is for everybody right now. Be honest with self first. Then you will see honesty or dishonesty in others. The only way you can tell who is being honest or dishonest is if you're truly honest with yourself. Okay. That's what this card talks about. Be honest with yourself first. Then you will see honesty and dishonesty in others. Because if we're accepting truth, lack of truth for ourselves, then anybody else can tell us anything. We're susceptible to believing anything, just like in the earth right now. If I'm going to believe untruths and anchor into things that are not true, then I'm susceptible to anything. If I only want to see truth, speak truth, and feel truth, I'm less susceptible to anything but the truth. All right. Yay! Amy says her cards are at her mailbox for pickup on Monday. Oh, dude, I love this deck so much. You're going to love it. She bought this deck. It's so amazing. Okay. Progress is not always noticeable. Okay. Until after you sit in stillness. Honor your progress today. So once we sit in stillness, we can then we can see what has happened. The reason why people are not seeing who I am or the changes in earth is because they're not sitting in stillness. They're not taking the time, like Amy said. Binge watch those videos. Watch at least one twice and see what it does. Okay. That's the thing. Get out of judgment and actually just sit in a open heart and watch those videos. Just because I'm not a masculine doesn't mean that I'm not the one. Okay? Everything is layered. Everything is layered. Colors, emotions, gestures, expressions. Nothing is really simple, but it is at the same time. Okay? Nothing is simple, but it is simple at the same time. That's a comment in itself, isn't it? Everything is layered. Colors, emotions, gestures, expressions. Nothing is really simple, but it is at the same time. Meaning you don't have to think too deeply, but being open to the vast array of everything. That's what I'm saying. If Jesus was right in front of you, would you guys see it? Probably not, because you don't even know who I am. Right? We can't even take the time to sit with the brevity of God's energy. It's way more than what you've been used to. The messages I give are way deeper than just a simple sentence. Okay? It truly is giving yourself space to sit with things and allow them to be still, because then you can notice your progress. Okay? When we're too busy, when we're staying busy, we don't notice things. We don't see the truths. Being honest with ourselves is what we have to do. Once you're honest with yourself, then you can see the truths and or lack thereof in everybody else. Okay? Because if you're accepting dishonesty from you or the collective, you can't see all truths. All right? And then one surrender card for everybody, and then I will do the messages for Amy and then Michelle. And today is a Patreon workshop, my friend. It is another Ascension Portal workshop. This one is in the Sapphire rays. We will be going into the rays of the Sapphire, and Lord knows what else is going to come through. That's at 3 o'clock for my Patreon members. So excited for that one. Okay, what do they need to surrender for the Ascension at this time? This is the final days, you guys. What do we do with that? Do we sit in stillness and go, oh, just let everything come? No, align with your heart, heal, raise your vibration, because either you stay here or you don't. Everybody doesn't go. Some get to stay. Some get to stay in the heavens of God, right? The gates of God. Okay, so this is a big one that we need to surrender for everybody. Surrender low self-esteem. You guys, this hits me hard because other people don't see me, right? My DM's not loving me. This can hit us hard, okay? You deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem, okay? My body took a hit when my DM died. I swelled up. My heart got enlarged when I activated the pyramids. And Spirit's like, bring your movements because only you can. And I'm like, oh God. And it's hard. And only 20 people watch that video. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I'm not good enough. I'm good enough. Just because others don't want to see me or want to judge me, I'm damn good enough. We need to all take that, okay? I'm good enough. I'm good enough to feel beautiful. I'm good enough to look beautiful. I'm good enough to stand up and do my best, even if I'm not quote unquote perfect for today's standards. Maybe I'm not 120 pounds anymore. Because when my DM died, I swelled up. When my arm got destroyed because they broke my arm as well and the bone came out of my skin, I couldn't move for 5 weeks. Okay. So my body took a hit, right? But this is relevant. Self-esteem. Surrender low self-esteem. We deserve success. We deserve love. I deserve that abundance I've worked so hard to bring for this earth. I worked so hard for the resurrection of Christ, and I deserve that recognition. I deserve that love. I deserve that identity. Okay. And let's release any remnants of anything other than what we deserve. See, and Amy's like, you are good enough. Thank you for putting yourself out there. Thank you. But same for you guys, right? Like, how often is the Spirit says, do this, and we're like, wait, I'm not good enough. That's because everybody judges. Everybody thinks God judges, and God doesn't judge shit. He's like, why can't we love? Like, what happened to that? Unconditional love. God doesn't judge. Did we get out of balance in a masculine and feminine? Yes. Does God judge anything? No. It's either in your heart to be of love or it's not. Okay. So let's do the work to surrender low self-esteem. Let's be open in the here and the now. Let's know that we are our own bosses. There's no leader other than the one that we need in our heart. That's who should be leading us, is God. Okay. The way of the sun, the way of the one. It's God. That's the one who we should be following, who should be leading us at this time. Just like the apocalypse of John, right? Don't worship the angels. Granted, the angels are amazing. True angels, not fallen ones. True angels are amazing, and they are creations of God. They do bring healing. They do bring love. But we should only be worshiping the inner side of our heart. That's God. Inside of me. Wait a minute. You want me to love me? Yes. That's how we love God. All right? And that's where this comes from. Surrender low self-esteem. I love me, regardless of what other people see. I know who I am and I've known what I've done, and very few people can see that as well because they take the time. We're surrendering our vices and we're opening up to new love, new understanding, and new capabilities and what this world really is. It's very painful when you think about what was done and how much they've separated God, the masculine and feminine, how much they took away love. But at the same time, can we hold resentments and anger? Nope. Let it go. Let's just rise into love. People are judging me. They're not watching my workshops. I could say, oh, what is the point? There's still a point that's bigger than that. Remember how I talk about let's validate ourselves. Let's love ourselves. Let's raise our vibration and still show up for God, regardless if people choose to see or not to see at this time, because they may just not rise to their best. There's nothing we can do. It is the end days. It is trials and tribulations. It is prophesied. Okay. Everything I've done goes with the Blue Hopi prophecy and also with the Bible. Okay. It's all right there. And it's beautiful and it's power. So take it and rise in the power of you, loving yourself unconditionally, no matter who we are, what we're doing, where we're at, because unless people take more than 10 minutes to get to know you, they have no say in who you are or what you do. Can I get an amen? Amen. Woo, woo. All right. Now we're going to move on to Amy and Michelle. I need new decks. All right. So Amy is first. And when did you reschedule your healing? Is it this week? I think it's this week, right? A lot coming this week. My hair is so long. I had a dream that I cut it off and it was like a nightmare. Thursday. Sweet. All right. Guys, I have a job starting next month too. I'm like, oh my gosh. What does that mean? Is the DM never going to show up now? See, like I can't worry about that either. I cannot worry about the DM anymore. We cannot worry about that. They either rise into love or they don't. Okay. However, God will be on your side as long as you are doing your part. All right. There's nothing more that we can do. I do twin flame messages though and videos on Thursdays. So this last week I took a break of it because of my own twin flame thing. So I will do that again next Thursday. All right, Amy. I don't know what happened to these cards. Some got mixed up. You are up. They want this deck. And the Ascension one. All right, so Lemuria deck and my Ascension deck. And let's see what Amy needs to hear at this time. So I'm going towards the honesty. Truthful. Remain truthful to yourself no matter what. That is a trial and tribulation of your heart right now. What is the absolute truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. That is the stance you need to take from your heart space. So am I speaking my truth, or is this like ego-based, right? What is really mattering at this time? I have to make sure I'm aligned with truth. So just like for the collective, right? That's amplified at this time, and that's coming into your energy. Hang on, they want me to pull 3 different decks for you. So truth is amplified at this time. And then owning your sovereignty. One must own their sovereignty. So again, something about owning your sovereignty. Who are you giving that reign to? Who is in charge of you at this time? Be very mindful of that. Okay, so again, you're realigned. So start opening up to co-creation. That's a big one. Use that muscle every day. Ask spirit to guide you and go with it immediately. Okay. That is a necessity every day. Spirit, what should I do at this time? What do I need to do at this time? Before you make decisions, sit with spirit. Okay. Gracious receptivity. This also is like truth and this internal explorer going together. Okay. Notice the colors. There's a very in tuned into the crown, the third eye, the ability to see inward at this time and co-create is a necessity. Trusting your innocence. This goes with that truth that I was talking about. Okay. If it's coming from the truth of your heart, that's what you follow. That's what you trust. Trust your innocence. Okay. Trust your truth. Trust your authority. Somebody else has authority over you, and they have for quite some time. And I feel like you thought you took it back, but you did not. Reclaim your energy. See, I can't make that up. If I tried, I didn't even see that card. It's a necessity to reclaim your energy, constantly going into your heart space, co-creating with spirit only, following what spirit says to do only. Okay. Trusting you are in line with the divine. That's what they want to say. Trusting that innocence. Okay. The divine will come from a place of love only, unconditional love, not judgment, not fear based, none of that stuff. Okay. They don't chastise. Everything is love. Everything is equal. All right. So as long as we're in that standpoint, co-create with spirit. It's super important right now that we listen to what spirit says. Okay. Spirit might say, take a yellow bus. I don't know. That's just an example. I'm not saying that's what they're going to say. But spirit's going to have messages for you that you must follow because it's about reclaiming your energy. This is about reclaiming your energy out of like there was an anchor into something we didn't want to anchor into on accident. And so it's about reclaiming your energy out of that. Trusting the energy, trusting the innocence from your heart space. Okay. Is it pure of the heart? Period. Is it pure of the heart? And this may be a challenge. This may pose difficult decisions and difficult actions, but it's giving yourself space to be that internal explorer, gracious receptivity, and knowing that this is my challenge I must meet at this time. This is divinely guided. This is from a place of my truth and my innocence because I need to reclaim my power. I was still giving it away. This is a big deal. Something about you were giving away your power still. Okay. This is not an easy challenge at all. I have to reiterate that. It's not meant to be easy. It's about growth. This is about a karmic cleanse. Okay. This is about undoing some of your own karma, past lives, which is a big deal. So some of us have more to clear for a reason. Okay. Doesn't make us any better or less than the next one. So I have bigger challenges to meet because I have further to clear for things of my ancestors, my lifetime. So here's an example, Amy, and I'm going to give this to you out of the space of my heart, is that I've noticed, like you've been on my journey, the ones that were supposed to be the apostles, at some point in their past, they went against God. Okay. Gigi, I know she hasn't been on the lives and been doing the things a lot, but in her thing, that's what she's clearing. Hers was back to the time of Poseidon and mermaids. I've talked about that. And part of the shadow. And that's funny because this biblical guy actually talked about that too. Giants and mermaids, Nephilim, fallen angels, and UFOs and vampires. They are relevant. Okay. So there is this thing there where at some point in our past, we went against God. All of us did at some point. Okay. And this is truly about finding that, allowing it to be illuminated, and making the right decisions back to the one. Okay, Jacinth had to do it. I've noticed that in the apostles that were supposed to be with me. And I remember you asking, well, can I help them back into their space? And that's a yes and a no, right? Like we can help people heal, yes. But the only one who's going to get them back to God is truly them. Okay. Right. This is an inner journey. It's an inward journey. And if I've gone so far against God and I'm way back at those gates, maybe it's too late. So we have to be careful with that. It's not saying that God judges because I don't judge. Okay. It's not like I'm like, oh, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. We don't do that. Right. It's truly about what did they clear? What were their trials and tribulations? Maybe we don't know. But I have noticed is that the ones who are the apostles, yes, you are one of the apostles. They all had bigger things to clear because it's where we went against God at some point. What are the things of God, right? The trueness of God, the things that are not of the shadow, monies of the shadow, fears of the shadow, judgments of the shadow, prestige, all these kinds of things. Can it take us down to a place of uncomfortableness? And like, and a good example is God had me give up everything. I had a place where I couldn't take a bath for 2 years at a time. I couldn't do these things. I couldn't do those things. I had to give it all up because it didn't matter. Okay. It's coming to a place of what matters. I'm not saying that's specific for you. What I'm saying here is you've got to align with that purpose and clear what it is you need to clear for you, because you're asking for it. It's not like they're just saying you've asked for it. Okay. You've been asking for it. And so you need to trust the innocence of your heart, trust the direction that it's giving you, the co-creation messages, and do that and nothing but that. Okay. Because this is reclaiming your energy and reclaiming your power. It's important. This is a big deal, but this is not an easy trial. I have to reiterate that enough. This is a difficult trial because it's pure self-growth. It's trusting and surrendering in a moment into uncomfortableness, whatever that means for you. Honestly, what it's reflecting is just, can I trust myself? Do I trust myself? Do I trust myself over others? Yeah. Like when people want to manipulate me and say I'm not good enough, I tend to believe that. And why would I want to believe that? Right? How can I trust myself over anything that's being presented at this time? How do I trust God over anything that's being presented at this time? That is your challenge. Okay. I don't know the specific challenge. They won't tell me that. It's personal for you. Let's see. But you are enlined. So they have to say that. You're enlined right now. So the messages you're getting are from the divine. The question is, do you trust those or the ego and the doubt? Now my hair just got taken by my glasses. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Okay. All right. Yep. So that's the thing here, is there is this energy of solidity in the inner core. You see this? Solidity in the inner core. It's like, do I trust my inner wisdom? Do I allow myself to be still and alone? There's like this fear of loneness. Solidity. Am I solidified in who I am and my own abilities? Do I trust myself? All the pieces coming together. Inner core. Being guided by my heart space and nothing else. Okay. There is silence and snow. Silence and snow. This goes with the card that I pulled that said to be in stillness, right? In order to see the work that we have accomplished, it's important to be in stillness. So it's very important for you to sit in stillness, inner explorer, gracious receptivity. Everything comes through in love. Everything goes out in love. It has to be a focus of love, not judgment of any kind, not including of yourself or anything like that. Okay. Be in silence. Everything will come from the inner core, but your inner core, not somebody else's. That's important. And then to make equal, the equator is balance. Super important to be in balance. Okay. Be in balance. This should be a masculine and feminine on this card. I don't like the black and white. That goes with like the shadow and the not shadow, and we are not that. All right. But this is absolutely relevant because you need to understand the difference between your shadow and what is not. This is a final component. It's a big one. Can you see the shadow from the truth? That is the stillness card. Are you sitting in stillness long enough? That's the question. Are we sitting in stillness within our body long enough to know the difference between the shadow and what is not? If we are going too fast, constantly remaining busy, constantly doing this, constantly doing that, can't get a moment to be in stillness, then you are outside of yourself. You are not in balance, and we cannot read clearly the messages from co-creation. So be in stillness enough, be in silence enough to understand what's going on the inside of you, to come from the place of your heart, your innocence within you, and allow spirit to guide the way. That's it right there. Make sure you can sit in silence because we're out of balance in that. And you can find it, trust me. create it. Okay. Create it. I know this is a bit detailed of a message, but it's very relevant. And it's something you've been asking for. So, okay. And then protecting your inner future. Protecting your inner future. We all have ways of securing and protecting our future. Consider logic and protection. So this is this is a big deal. It's like, are you guiding your compass or somebody else? Reclaim your energy. You are letting somebody else guide you. Okay. Continually. And it's about truly being inward and going from the place of your heart space only, even if others do not agree, even if you're worried about how it's going to affect others. As long as it's from your heart center, it can't lead you astray. Okay. Everything is brighter. Everything is brighter when we are aligned. Energy blocks through stagnation. All right. So this goes with that. It's like I was so busy. I wasn't sitting still enough. I wasn't sitting still enough. I wasn't being able to be in my body enough, which caused a disconnect, which caused a shadow to take over, which caused me to still fall into that same thing that I may have once done before. All right. So what was the focus on? Was it money? What was more important at the time? Allow the divine to guide you. This is important. Like, I hope I'm doing this message justice. This is not a little thing. Protecting your future. Don't allow things to get stagnant. What does that mean? If we're constantly busy and outside of our body, our inner world is stagnant. There's stagnation. We're not pushing energy through. We're not tuning into our body. We can't read what is ours and what is others. We're out of balance. Okay. Gracious receptivity talks about love in every way, balance of masculine and feminine, and making sure that we are coming from a place of love, pureness in our heart center, knowing that my guides are not going to lead me astray. It's what I need to do. It's already there for me to do. Maybe I don't need to understand it completely. I just need to choose into love. Because if I knew all the details before I made the choice, it's not a choice in free will. Right? That's why a lot of things I did was out of the veil. I couldn't know what I was doing and why I was doing it because it had to be pure free will. That's the tricky part about it. Why are we coming out of a veil and have to make these choices? It has to be pure free will. So if I told you tomorrow the lottery numbers are going to be this, and then you go and use them and win the lottery, that's not free will. Do you see what I'm saying? That's like preemptive strike. So some of the answers you're seeking, they're not for you to know until afterwards. You will know once you clear them. Okay. It's like we didn't know all of the steps on our journey either. They just come through because we're following that inner light. We're trusting it over anything on the outside. We're making the choices within our divine guidance only. And when we do like fall off, something doesn't feel it, we sit with it. We take the time to go within and sit with it and feel, do our best to not be in judgment, but to be love, come with love at it, love for ourselves, love for others, and allow spirit to guide you the whole way. And this is different because then we realize we're not in control right now. And no, we're not. It's the end of days, right? We are, but from our natural self, where our free will lies. Free will lies from your higher self, from your heart space. Okay. Is that making sense? I hope it does. It's a very important message. Very deep. One of the answers I can't give you, it's already there. Because that negates free will. However, the other is right here for you. You are enlightened. So whatever message you get right now will be of God. Just make sure it's not one of judgment. Yay! I love that. That is so good to see you. Now you can kind of tell the difference. So the more that you sit in your body and in your heart, you're going to see that, right? It's an important thing to meditate, to be in stillness, and people will be like, I don't have time. Yes, you do. That's the shadow convincing you don't. That's ego convincing you don't. That's something trying to keep you out of that. Okay? We are in control, owning your sovereignty. You create your reality. All right? I love that. So make sure it's reclaiming your energy from an inward perspective, trusting your innocence of you, And your journey is different than anybody else's, right? Communication and co-creation and allowing spirit to guide you. And it's supposed to be a difficult challenge. People might think, oh yay, freedom, it should all be peaches and roses and easy. And that's not true. It's coming into a place of our better versions of ourselves. So it should be a challenge. It should be a challenge getting into the gates of heaven. It should be a challenge going out of judgment and expectations and different perspective. It is what it is. Yes, do that as many times as you need to, before, after, during, whatever it is needed. The more you connect to spirit again, the stronger that will become. Okay. And then the easier it will be to see when something tries to take you away from that. It's that strengthening that muscle. Super, super, super important. Super important. And yes, those that have worked with me this whole entire way had bigger purposes than most. Consider that's what the apostles were, right? They at one point chose against God as well. Look at what John the Apostle did. And everyone, Gigi's doing it. Everyone had, and that's kind of, I wish she was here to talk about that. She's calling back where she went against God as well. So that's relevant. Come to God and be like, I'm sorry, I choose God this time. It makes a lot of sense. I had to do it too. Do I choose God or the shadow? At any time I could have chose the shadow. But I didn't. And I guess that's what makes me the chosen one, right? I don't know that I could have. My heart is just completely with God all the time. But I still probably could have, right? At some point I did. That's what happened to Sekhmet. That's what happened to Adam and Eve and Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Jesus, he trusted the shadow a little bit too much and then died, right? Mary Magdalene ended up having to take his blood and write this false holy grail, and she died. Yes. Yep, exactly. And yours is for you, right? Each one's different. Like the person who had the Bible to bring, again, chose against it. Or even Pamela, she chose judgment rather than love, and realizing that power does not come with money and prestige. That's false. Okay. It's like she was looking at me like I was supposed to be a certain way, or how could I be this? And then Jesus came after she left. You see what I'm saying? Like, bummer, we missed the mark because judgment got into play. So never do that on yourself either. We tend to do that on ourselves too, and we don't realize it. Okay. That was beautiful. Michelle, are you ready? You still with me? So I will come on Thursday, if you guys want. And I will do an energy read. I'll do a live on Thursday for Twin Flames. It'll be a special one, okay? For Harold, I don't know if he'll watch this or not, but I will do a live Thursday and we'll do some Twin Flame messages. Specifically for Twin Flames, so those will be free. Michelle is ready. All right. I gotta go into a different deck. Ooh. All right. So I feel some really awesome shifting going on for Michelle right now. Whoa. I'm dizzy as all get out, though. Woo-wee. Sweet doggy. As soon as I go in your energy, Michelle, I am dizzy. Pay attention to water intake. You're slightly dehydrated, but you're also transitioning. So you are transitioning into more of a feminine rising. It's like the femininity is rising inside of you. So again, part of like the balance of our whole selves. We are each filled with masculine and feminine. It's just what we are. That's what God is. God is both masculine and feminine. And they have spent years snuffing out one side or the other, right? Lifetimes upon lifetimes, snuffing out one side or the other. And that's how we always got so imbalanced. God does not judge. Only people judge, right? Only people chastise and kill you if you're different. God does not do that. But this is relevant for your healing at this time. You're feeling accepted. You're feeling more accepted by God, even if it's not by the people around you yet. Keyword, yet. They will. Some of the validations you seek, they're saying you will get, and others you will not. So will those that harmed you ever fully understand the brevity of the harm that they've caused? Chances are not for a while and not all the way. The more validation you're going to get is going to be within you and your sovereignty that you house. Okay, so you will be able to forgive, you will be able to love, and you will be able to come into a place of a newness, a new life, new freedom for you. And some of it you will get back. So some of it they'll be like, damn, I'm sorry I did that. I didn't realize. But it won't be all of what you hoped for. I hope that makes sense. It's mostly going to come from in you. So that's part of it. But there's a feminine rising within you. So you are becoming more in balance with who you are. There is a goddess lifetime being reflected here as well. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. So that's reflective of what I was saying right there for sure. So some of that, it's like I want them to see the pain that they caused me, but they may never. Okay, they may never get a full perspective of it, but that's not where the healing is going to come from for you. Okay. So this is interesting. They want me to pull the other cards too. Hang on. There's a really cool message here. There's something for sure coming your way. It's an ability to be able to forgive others even if they don't see the pain they've caused you. That is a challenge. Okay. We do want them to recognize the pain that they've caused us, but that's not always possible. It's just not always possible. But we can still forgive and heal, because it's truly about healing, right? And I know that's all you want. So let's see here. Oh. Mayday. They fell on the floor. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Okay. Exactly. So there. Okay. That's okay. This is a beautiful message. It really, truly is. Okay. You are going into a different direction, first of all, right? I'm in a different direction than what I once was. This is a new space, new territory, new avenue. I have gone in a new direction. And that is safe to say that the people around you won't all follow that direction, okay? It is allowing some of those things to fly away. I can't let them bother me. I'm not going to get out of them what I hope to get out of them, right? Like, people truly wrong us, and we want the ability for them to say, damn, I'm so sorry I hurt you. I should not have done that. I misjudged you. I realized I hurt you. But here's the thing, is the healing's going to come in a different way. You will get some of that later, but that's not where the healing is going to come from. So let the things that have happened to you, let those that have hurt you, let it fall off of you like water, right? Like, be waterproof. Do not let others hurt you. Do not let others sway you. All right. It's truly about commitment, but this is also a new relationship coming forward, just not yet. Okay. I hear that here, but this is a commitment of self. This is a commitment to self-discovery, to healing, and to love, self-love, but also creating a safe space. Because they say you're in survival right now. I'm still in this energy of survival, but you've been there for quite some time. But with that energy, it will block abundance. Okay. So you've gone in a new direction. It's like expanding my energy, letting things fall away, knowing that the only one who can give forgiveness is myself. Okay. That's a difficult thing to understand. Commitment to the journey of myself, commitment to self-love, self-development, self-growth. That's the figure 8, right? It's infinity. It keeps going and going. And as I do this, the right relationship will come about, because I do see that. But we have to get out of a survival aspect. Upgrading to relationships also will come about, but you have to forgive within yourself. Okay. You're not going to get what you wanted from others. So it's accepting disappointments gracefully. Okay. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to throw out negativity. I'm not going to think I'm anything less. Maybe it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, and I'm going to let that fall off like water. I'm going to find new things, new love, new directions. Okay. We're just going to take it in a whole new direction. Commitment to self-development, to love. And that is your key. All right. That's how you take the lead. Okay. Strengthening your gifts. There is abilities within you that matter here. All right. That's that commitment to self, commitment to self-growth, commitment to healing thyself. Nobody else is going to be able to do it for you. Even those that wronged you completely. And I understand that. And it's wanting deeply for them to see that. But the healing is going to come from a different avenue. Accepting those gracefully. But can I love them unconditionally, even if they didn't love me the same? That's a challenge. Okay. Take the lead out of that. Ask with sincerity. Ask Spirit to guide you and to help you with sincerity. So what this is talking about is less judgment of self, less judgment of spirit, and less judgment of those around you. It's hard because you've been wronged. Like people have wronged you in such a way that it makes you not trust. So raise your vibration completely. Okay. Raise your vibration to such a degree where it's more waterproof. It's not going to affect me. The more you raise your vibration, the more abundance comes through. Okay. And let go of survival mode. This is hard because there's been a lot of energy that put you in survival mode. I always had to protect myself. I have to watch what I say. I have to watch what I do. I have to watch everything. And I feel like I'm constantly in a survival mode. I'm not free. And we're going to take the lead right on out of there. Screw that noise. No more of this. I can't worry about them seeing what they've done to me because they may never see it. Okay. I am going to ask Spirit to help guide me. I'm going to ask myself with love and sincerity. And Spirit will help me with whatever I need. I'm going to ask with sincerity, meaning I believe in myself. I believe in what I'm feeling. I believe in the shift that is proving to me to be real. It is a different direction than what I'm used to, and that's okay. I am now waterproof because I know I'm worth more, and I'm going to strengthen my connection and my commitment to myself and to God. Okay, because there is true healing here. And then there will be true relationships of love here. 3 new ones. Not that you're going to like marry 3 people, but there is going to be 3 new relationships coming in that are truly filled with love and a soul connection. So one will be more intimate than the others, right? But there is 3 new relationships that will be coming forward here. So it's important to strengthen your gifts. What does that mean? Are you a healer? Yes. But what this is truly pointing to is strengthening the commitment to yourself and not letting anybody else put you in the fear of survival anymore, because I feel like that's been constant in your reality from the time you were little. Like, I'm so afraid, I'm just in survival mode. I just don't want them to hurt me anymore. And I wish they could see how much they've hurt me, but Spirit is saying chances are they never fully will, because they don't have that perspective. To them, it was not doing that. So you see what I'm saying? And so we just have to let that go. Commit to loving ourselves, self-growth, and I'm going to open up to abundance in this way because I'm more powerful than that. I'm not a survivor. I'm a creator. I'm going to take the lead back in my life. I'm going to let things go that didn't happen the way that I wanted them to, and I'm going to send them off with love. And I'm going to ask with sincerity for all that I do, because I believe in who I am. I believe in what is happening to me, even if it doesn't make full sense. And I'm going to continue raising my vibration because that is my key in the direction that I am going at this time. And then they want 1 Lumeria card. You are going through a portal of the mental aspect. Okay, so the portal that you are in for the ascension is a mental aspect. Can I be stronger than that of the mind? Can I go into my head space over my mind, right? This is like, I have expectations, I have all these things, but it's not what's real in my heart. So it's taking the power back, taking the lead from your mind. My mind says a lot of things, but they may not be in reality. My heart says otherwise. And sometimes that's hard. We're not taught to do that all the time. We're taught to follow our mind over our heart. They're saying, no. Yeah. Okay, so there we are again. So you are in a portal of power and opportunity over the mind. So trust your innocence, trust your heart, just like I said. Okay. It's in your heart, not in your head. What does your heart say? How does your heart feel about it? And that's where we'll go with. Third eye chakra. This is a new perspective, a new awakening. It's an awakening perspective. So we're coming into further understanding of self. Okay. That's why it's super important to raise your vibration. Here we are again with the number 8. Commitment to self-development, and new information coming through, new perspectives. Okay. New perspectives are happening at this time and will continue to do so as long as you let what others did to you go. We got to let it go. It's not going to heal that way. And they may never see it. Okay. This is about endless opportunities, opening up to a vast array of possibilities. There's way more going on here than meets the eye, right? And so that's why our mind is limited. Our mind is not in tune with the heart space. Home is where the heart is. That's where usually a lot of answers reside. The darkness, the shadow can get in our head so much more easier than in our heart. Okay. It's only by anchoring it into the heart that we allow it to. So, this is an awakening. Like I said, you're going through a new portal, and this has to do with the power of the mind, letting things go, forgiveness, trusting the innocence of you. Okay. But the main key here is you're not going to get them to see what they did to you. It's just not. Only in time will they see some of it. And that's because they see you changing and healing and pulling through, regardless of what they've done. Then they're going to get a clearer perspective, but it's going to be after you've healed. So even them saying sorry at that point will help a little, but that is not the healing you're needing and not where it's going to come through. Does that make sense? That's a big deal about this. Okay. So it's opening up to those new perspectives. You've gone in a new direction, and some of the people will not go that way either. They just won't. So some of the people that were in your life and in your environment won't be going the same way. And that's okay too. Yeah, and that's okay too. But it's truly opening up to that. So, and we may accept it, but maybe our heart fully hasn't healed that yet, right? We're still hoping. We're still thinking that's what we need for healing. But no, you're going to heal you. And it's okay. You're going to heal you. And that's what it means by strengthening that gift, is that commitment to yourself, to healing, to love again, even though we weren't given that. You may not have been given love, but you still are love. And God still needs you. And that's part of the answer I think you were looking for. God does need you. And you did hear the call. It was not a fluke. It was not by accident. So I don't know if you've asked that, because that was a big deal. Not a fluke, not by accident. You listened to the call and you found where you needed to be at the right time. Okay? This was a layered message. That's why I'm glad these are recorded. You can watch these back. It was a beautiful message and so on point. I love that. It was very beautiful. That was powerful right there. I love your messages. They're always so powerful. Very much so. That was awesome, you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my journey and for listening and for the work that you guys do and for how much you care about God and love and yourself. I thank you. That's what we need. That's what matters. Through and through, that's what matters. That's what we need. So I thank you. Okay? Absolutely. And I appreciate you guys. So next Thursday, I will do an extra bonus live. Harold was wanting to know about his twin flame. If he stays around for it, if he wants to show up for that, he can. Okay. You're so welcome. It will be for twin flame messages solely, and I will do it next Thursday, probably around the same time. I don't know. I'll tune into the time frame for that one because I don't usually do a live on Thursday. And that's a little extra bonus because he is the twin flame journey is very important to me and it matters. So I want to make sure he feels okay. But that's if he hears and if he stays. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me so very much. I encourage those that are unfamiliar to watch the workshops because I do hold the keys to the ascension. Okay. You guys are amazing. You guys are so amazing. And I thank you. I thank you. So much love to you. And I will see you guys soon. And for my Patreons, I will see you at 3:00. A beautiful sapphire healing. I have no idea what's coming through. This has to do, though, with preparation of mind growth is what they're talking about, too. Because as I said, the end of 23, we're going to have a huge population sweep. Because going into 24, it's going to have to be capabilities of mental expansion. Okay, we will be expanding the mental mind as we go forth into 2024. All right, you guys. Love you lots. Love you so very much. Keep being you, keep being strong, keep shining that light and love and growing into who you truly are. Amazing you are. I'm not me without you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you guys later. Bye.